Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya.
Nachasya kaschin nipunena dhatur. Nachasya kaschin nipunena dhatur. Avaiti jantu kumanishauti. Avaiti jantu kumanishauti. Namani rupani manavachobi. Namani rupani manavachobi. Santavato natacharyam vivagya. Santavato natacharyam vivagya.
Nachasya chasin nipunena datur.
Nachasya kaschin nipunena datur.
Avaiti jantu kumanisha uti.
Avaiti jantu kumanishauti.
Namani rupani manobhachobi.
Namani rupani manavachobi.
Santan banto natacharyam ivagyam.
Santavato natacharyam vivagya.
Nachasya kaschin nipunena datur.
Nachasya kaschin nipunena datur.
Avaiti jantu kumanisha uti.
Avanti jantu kumanisha uti.
Namani rupani manavachobi.
Namani rupani manavachobi.
Santam vato natacharyam vivagya.
Santam vato natacharyam vivagya.
Na,
Not.
cha,
Cha.
and
Asya.
of him. Kaschit,
Kaschit.
anyone. Nipunena, by dexterity.
By dexterity.
Dhatur, of the creator. Avaiti, can know. Jantu, the living being. Kumanisha, with poor fund of knowledge. Uti, activities of the Lord. Namani, his names. Rupani, his form. Manavachobi, by dint of mental speculation or deliverance of speeches. By dint of mental speculation or by deliverance of speeches. Santanvato, displaying. Natacharyam, dramatical player. Eva, like.
Agya,
the foolish. Translation. The foolish man, with poor fund of knowledge, cannot know the transcendental nature of the forms, names, and activities of the Lord, who is playing like a dramatical actor. Neither they can express such things, even by mental speculation or by deliverance of different speeches. Report by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Nobody can properly describe the transcendental nature of the Absolute Truth, and therefore it is said that He is beyond the expression of mind and speeches. And yet there are some men with poor fund of knowledge who desire to understand the Absolute Truth by imperfect speculation of the mind and faulty description of His activities. To the layman, the activities, appearance and disappearance, His names, His forms, His paraphernalia, His personalities, and all such things in relationship with him are something like mysterious acts. There are two classes of materialists, namely the fruity workers and the empiric philosophers. The fruity workers have practically no information of the absolute truth, and the mental speculators, after being frustrated in the matter of fruitive activities, turn their face towards the absolute truth and tries to know him by mental speculation. And for all these men, the absolute truth is a mystery as much as the jugglery of the magician is to the children. Being deceived by such jugglery of the Supreme Being, the non-devotees, who may be very much dexterous in the matter of fruity work and mental speculation, are always gifted with poor fund of knowledge. With such limited knowledge, they are unable to penetrate into the mysterious region of transcendence. The mental speculators are a little bit progressive than the gross materialists or the fruity workers, but because such mental speculators are also within the grip of illusion, they take it for granted that anything which has a form, a name, and activities is but a product of the material energy. For them, the Supreme Spirit is formless, nameless, and inactive. And because such mental speculators equalize the transcendental name of the Lord, and because such mental speculators equalize the transcendental name and form of the Lord as similar to that of mundane names and form, they are in fact gifted with a poor fund of knowledge. With such poor fund of knowledge, there is no access in the real nature of the Supreme Being. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is always in the transcendental position, even when he is within the material world. But men gifted with poor fund of knowledge consider the Lord as one of the great personalities of the world, and thus are misled by the illusory energy. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranjunitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, is mercifully opening my darkened eyes with the torch of transcendental knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto His Lord's feet. It's a very nice description of how Krishna bewilders the non-devotees, mental speculators, fruity backers, fruity workers. Srila Prabhupada very poetically and nicely describes that to these people, his forms, his names, paraphernalia, and everything in connection is like a mysterious act. Just as is a mystery of a magician when he juggles, like we were watching this guy, this magician, who was taking out a cup of martini from the wall. Remember, you were showing me some magician, like real crazy stuff he was doing. There was this poster on the wall, and there were these cups.
Yes, he was taking that.
And he took out the cup from the poster with some drink in it. Then he gave it to some other person, he drank it, and then he put the cup back into the poster. And while it was out, the cup was missing from the poster. Like really crazy. Not, displaying with the cards and stuff like that. It's like really crazy stuff.
Jogi stuff.
So there's I became bewildered. I couldn't conceive what's going on there. I don't know what was going on there. So it's like that. The scientists, so-called atheistic scientists, those who want to put everything into the matchbox of the brain. Oh, it is not proven by experiment, that's why it doesn't exist. God, we cannot capture God within our test tube, so it doesn't exist. So to these people must be a mystery. The creation, the nature, is a big mystery. Sorry, Prabhu, I can't focus. Just like this Hawking, this guy, the greatest mind and this and that, they are glorifying him. He died just 2 days ago or something. So he was asked, what was there before the Big Bang? So he gave his explanation, some mambo jumbo, some nonsense. He spoke some nonsense. I don't know whether he was speaking or he has some random word generator in that computer, some application, some app. Because he's not saying anything, he's just sitting there, and looking at you, and the machine speaks. So I don't know if it was him or is some virus in the system or something, but he was just blabbering some nonsense, imaginary time and this, that, and ultimately there was nothing before the so-called Big Bang, which also, who has proven this? There was nothing. So one nonsense theory he explains by another nonsense. And another fool, another ass sitting there and doing like this, yes, yes. So to them, what they can understand. No transcendental vision. No, even they denying even the idea. They're so fanatic that they are not even able to theoretically accept, just like Prabhupada says in Introduction to the Bhagavad Gita. If one at least theoretically accepts that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in other words, that there is God. If you simply theoretically accept that there is God, then you can move on, you can make further research. To those scientists, because not all of them are nonsense, to those who have some, let's say, religious idea, there are many mathematicians, biologists, to them it all makes sense. The deeper they go into matter, the further they see within the universe, so-called with the telescopes or whatever, the more data they gather and the more they see the complexity of nature, the more they actually appreciate, the more sense it makes, yes, there must be God. Otherwise, this is not possible. When they discovered the microscope in, 18th or 19th century, I don't know whether you were doing this experiment, but when we were learning about the cell in school, the most easy thing to observe the cell is the onion.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
A little pile of onion.
Yes, they peel it. And
one layer.
Yes.
You take one layer from the onion,
Yes.
put it in the microscope. You are doing also?
Yes. Yes.
Just see. In Peru, in Slovakia,
the same system.
everywhere the same. They showing the onion. So what could you see there? Some, hexagonal little structure, right? With a little black dot.
Yes.
Oh, this is the cell. So they saw something like that in the first microscope. In Slovakia, probably the school system was not able to develop since the 18th century, so we could have a better microscope. But that's what you saw. Some hazy little, thing with a black dot. So when they saw it the first time, they thought, oh, this is a very, very simple. The cell is like just a little some nonsense. They thought it was a very basic, some simple thing. But then, as they developed the technology and they were able to go within the cell, within the nucleus of the cell, when they found out DNA, when they discovered Watson and Crick in the 50s, even these guys, Watson and Crick, one of them, I don't know which one, he admitted, when I saw this DNA, my mind was just blown. He didn't accept God or something, but he said, I don't know. He said, this doesn't make any sense. He was an atheist. But seeing the DNA put a bug in his mind that this is too much. I can't explain this super complexity of this knowledge. So yes, because profound of knowledge, maya paripagyan, the knowledge you have, the pile of data that is still being carried away by maya, because you do not accept, you're so puffed up. So to them, to these atheists, just like for him, he saw the DNA, the island. Mystery. It's a mystery. He's bewildered. So these are the workings of God in the nature. Mystery. Mysterious. They cannot explain. Just like I don't know how this guy took up the cup from the poster. It's a mystery to me. So similarly, But this is not so important, right? If someone is doing some magic. But this is the supreme magic. This we should focus, not remain bewildered. And also, if you hear from that person who's doing these things, if he tells you, I do like this, then you understand. There's no more a mystery.
You accept.
Right? You accept his explanation. Even you can learn it from him. Right? Of course, not that now we can learn the process of creation, but even that you can know. If you become a Brahma, then you become the creator of the universe. Within the universe, you create all the planets, all the laws of nature, everything is within your jurisdiction. So even that you can learn, that supreme magic. Not the supreme, but the big magic. So this is very nicely, these shlokas of Bhagavatam, how they captured how Vyasadeva captured this explanation. Krishna is playing like a dramatical actor, an actor on the stage. He is, Prabhupada gives somewhere the example that it might be a child, and you sit in the audience, and your father comes on the stage. He's an actor, and he comes on the stage and he's dressed. He has a costume, and he puts some other voice, and he's acting in a different way. So you can't even recognize your father. You do not know what it is. Again, mysterious. So it's your father. Because you do not have a sufficient brain. Because you're a child, you become bewildered. So similarly, Krishna is playing like a dramatical actor, the activities of Krishna, all bewildering. To those with full fund of knowledge, they cannot know the transcendental nature of the form, names and activities of the Lord. Neither they can express such things, but even by mental speculation or by deliverance of different speech. Yes. So this we hear so many times from these, all kinds of esoteric, hippie people or Mayavadis. Oh, it cannot be expressed in words. He says some nonsense, and he says, "Oh, can you elaborate?" Oh, it cannot be expressed in words. Can you explain this? What you just said? How you are me and how I am you? They say, you and me are one. I am you, you are me. Oh, so can you explain? No, it cannot be put into words.
But they already did.
Yeah, you already put it in words, first of all. And second of all, okay, you don't have to explain, but anyway, now you kindly take the money from that pocket and put it in this pocket. Because that pocket is my pocket and this pocket is your pocket. So you put it there. You just like you put from left pocket into the right pocket, your money. So simply you take your money and put it in this pocket. Right? Oh, then that philosophy doesn't apply anymore. Right? That realization he doesn't have. The rascal. I am you, you are me. So you still have the money. If you put it into my pocket, you still have them because I am you. When I go and enjoy this money, it's your pleasure, right? You're going to enjoy it because I am you. Just see the nonsense. So he cannot explain. Why you cannot explain? Because you didn't hear from a bona fide spiritual master. You hear from some rascal, similar rascal as you are, and he made it a little further than you. He is accepted as God by cows and asses and animals and camels and dogs and hogs and pigs. They accepted him as God, as good as God, not as good as God himself, because he tricked them. So you're one of them, and you also want to be like him, so you speak what he speaks, the rubbish. But you didn't hear from the proper source, the proper explanation. What is Jiva? What is God? Ishvara? What is the relationship? What is devotional service? So these empiric philosophers, the scientists, fruitive workers, they have no access. Empiric philosophers. What is an empiric philosopher? This word empirical, what does it mean? Empirical.
By experience.
Yes, by experience. Experience, sense perception. Not exactly experience, sense perception.
Mm-hmm. That he's going through.
Yes, because experience, you can have experience, but not through material senses. You can have the experience with Krishna. You can have, experience is realization. Spiritual experience, spiritual realization, right? Just like so many times you see how Krishna, acts in your own case, how he arranges things, etc., etc. The devotees have realization, they have experience with God. But empirical means through the senses, through the mind. mental speculation, mind, intelligence, senses. So they have no access. Atah Shri Krishna Namadi Napavid Grayam Indriyai Sevan Mukhehi Jivado Swayameva Spuratyada. Atah Shri Krishna Namadi, the name of Krishna, just like here it said, the name, the activities, the form. Napavid Grayam Indriyai. By the senses, Indriya, you cannot get any access. By the material senses, contaminated senses. Sevan Mukhehi Jivado Swayameva Spuratyada. Sevan Mukhehi Jivado. By the tongue, when you engage your tongue in the service, when you spiritualize your senses, beginning with the tongue, taking nothing but prasadam and chanting the holy name of Krishna and Krishna Katha, preaching Krishna consciousness. By when you engage your tongue in this process, Sevan Mukhehi Jihva, Adav, Jivadav, Jiva, tongue, Adav is the first. The first is the tongue. You have to engage your tongue, Sevan Mukhe, in the Seva. Chant Hare Krishna, you take prasadam. And then all the other senses follow. Sharira Vidya Jal, Jodindriya, Taika, Jiva, Pele Vishay Sagar, Dharamadi Jivati, Labamati, Sudurmati. Dharamadi Jiva, again, the tongue. Sharira Vidya Jal, Joda Indriya, Taika, the senses. The body is made of senses, and the senses are paths leading to death. Death means spiritual ignorance. So, and out of all of them, Taramadhye Jivati, in the center of all these senses is the tongue, the most prominent, the most voracious, the most crazy, the tongue. Eating nonsense, speaking nonsense, like that. So, you capture the tongue. You speak what is necessary. That is called silence. When you only talk what is necessary in relationship to Krishna and nothing else, this is called silence. Not mauna, complete silence. Artificial. No, you speak about Krishna, Krishna Katha, preach. Chant Hare Krishna. That is called silence. A devotee is silent. He doesn't speak unnecessary nonsense. And take prasadam and nothing else. Sevan Mukhehi Jivadav. First the tongue, then all the other senses they follow. And they then become spiritualized senses. And then with these spiritual senses engaged in devotional service, just like we were discussing in the Bhagavad Gita a few days or weeks ago, by Maharaj Ambarish gave a very nice example, how to engage the eyes, the tongue, the hands, the legs, everything, how to engage the nose, the ears, how to engage them in devotional service. So by these spiritualized senses, then one can understand or realize, or it will be revealed to him, not by own endeavor, but by revelation of Krishna, through the medium of a bona fide spiritual master. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasadu. When you satisfy the devotee, pure devotee, spiritual master, then Bhagavan is satisfied. Yasya prasadat Bhagavat prasadu, yasya aprasadan nagati kutopi. And if you dissatisfy the spiritual master, then how you expect Krishna to be satisfied? In that case, you go nowhere. Nagati, you have no destination. Nagati, no aim, no goal, no destination. You're going nowhere. So, by this satisfaction of the spiritual master, by such satisfaction of the spiritual master, the form, name, quality, paraphernalia, activities, lila, etc. of the Supreme Lord are revealed to the devotee, to the bhakta, through devotional service, not mentally, not intellectually, not sensually. Yes, senses are there, mind is there, intelligence is there, ego is there, spiritual also, but that has to be purified. So that purification process is devotional service, under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, controlling the senses, controlling the mind. Vaidhi. Now they're mocking these rascals, these Sahajiyas. Vaidhis, they need a savior. I heard the rascal yesterday, right? So Mataji is crying there, in front of the camera, blowing her nose. The nose blowing sampradaya. Right? Nose blowing sampradaya. ridiculous. And they say, oh, the Vaidis, they need a savior. You need, first of all, you need a nut house. You have to go to a nut house, get some nice pills, put your brain together, and then read Prabhupada's books properly. So, this is the process. By following the order of the spiritual master, by following the instruction, chanting regularly, prescribed number of rounds, at least, means more, not 16, that's just more, at least 16. 16 is the beginning. 5-year-old Gorachandra was chanting 16 rounds for the kids. Following the 4 regulative principles, no illicit sex, no meat, no gambling, no intoxication, hearing regularly, class, reading the books, hearing the class. As much as possible, one has to be engaged in this process of Shravanam, Kirtanam. Of course, different devotees are in different positions, there are different duties. Someone works very hard, there's so much time. But whatever time is left must be utilized properly, and then take rest and then go on. So, then, not by pushing the tears out and pushing the how it's called, the mucus in English, the mucus, pushing the mucus. Buggers, and you're digging out the buggers from the nose and pushing the mucus and pushing the tears. Right? And push your eyes, the rascal comes, pushes your eyes into the head, and you see the light. Prabhupada says, this is their enlightenment. Not like that. Then you cry, that's very nice. You lock yourself up in a room and cry there. Why everyone has to? If a new person sees that, he's going to think that the Hare Krishnas are some nutcases.
In that case, they are.
Yeah, well, he sees the nutcase, so what he can think. Come to the Bhagavatam class and hear the philosophy and try to understand. Not this, what is this? Anyway. So then the name formula will be revealed. Why Prabhupada didn't do this? Why Prabhupada? Prabhupada is the Acharya. Prabhupada said, everything I have given you. Why he didn't do this? Crying. Yes, he cried a few times when he couldn't hold it. But this is ridiculous. Now we have to, what Prabhupada has hidden, now we have to express. New step, now we go further. We're going to take it further. Prabhupada gave a process by which, if you follow, you will come to that stage, yes. But then you do not have to show up. Just like Prabhupada. Why Prabhupada didn't show up? Not to bewilder the neophytes. Not to bewilder, because then everyone will become a Sahajiya. Oh, Krishna, Radhe. You cry like that? Oh, let me see, I want to see it live. I'm going to go to your place. You chant your japa, you're in your 3rd round, right? The ecstasy comes, you're going to cry, and let me beat you with a stick. Whether you're going to notice anything. Because if you're in such an ecstasy, you do not notice. If I cut the flesh of your body, you will not even notice that I'm cutting your flesh and putting salt. Right?
Actually, Prabhupada did that.
Yes, this rascal came into the temple. Prabhupada, there is this, I don't know what. He's there crying, rolling on the floor. Oh, Radhe, Radhe. Prabhupada, kick him in the ass. Or something. Kick him, go and kick him. So, yes, you chant and cry very nicely and put it on the camera. But I want to be there and I'm going to kick you and I want to see you chanting, going on, crying and not even noticing my kick. My strong kick in your ribs. Kick you nicely in your ribs. So the air will go out of your lungs and you will not be able to breathe. And I want to see you going on. You rascal. Crying for 20 minutes and then, okay, let me shut down this Facebook and let me go and do some nonsense. So this is ridiculous. We protest. Sahajiyas garbage. Don't be misled. Don't be misled. Now Facebook is filling up with this. Don't be misled. Watch out. Rascal. Yes, you cry. You meet together and cry together. Don't broadcast. Anyway, here very important point. The mental speculators are a little bit progressive than the gross materialists or the fruity workers, but because such mental speculators are also within the grip of illusion, they take it for granted that anything which has a form, a name, and activities is but a product of material energy. For them, the Supreme Spirit is formless, nameless, and inactive. So, this is important. Just for formality. Vaidhi is also formality. There is a form. This was a very nice realization Prabhu and Ramachandra came to. That they deny the form, the formality. Just like Vaidhi Bhakti. In one sense, it's a formality, also formal, right? The rules and regulations is a form. You do it like this. But because they're rascals, they deny this form. Oh, the Vaidhis, they need a savior. See? Mayavadi rascal. No form. Just do whatever. Raganuga. Raganuga is there. But this is not how you... These devotees, they do not show like this. They do not preach this thing. Because the neophytes will become bewildered. People will become Sahajiyas. They're not ready for this elevated. And then the one who is ready, he will act as if he is not ready. It's an internal affair. Raganuga and ecstasy, and these are internal affairs, not external. External is there, yes, but this is not the time and place to show off.
Yeah, some devotees say that you can actually go directly to Raganuga without needing of any...
Well, Prabhupada says like that. Prabhupada says in the Nectar of Devotion that when you practice Vaidhi Bhakti and you become advanced, you get purified. Raganuga is the next stage. Not that independently you cultivate Raganuga. I didn't hear that from Prabhupada. That you cultivate. The new devotee comes into the temple and immediately he starts Raganuga.
That's what they do in the Radha Kund.
Yeah, let them do it. It's not Radha Kund, it's Naraka Kund. So anyone can do whatever he likes, but why are you misleading others? You go to hell alone. Why do you want to take others? Why are you not satisfied with your own hell trip? Why you want to take others? If you're so ecstatic, you do not need anyone. Go alone.
You're already with Krishna.
Yeah.
But Prabhu, Lord Chaitanya, it's love. We should love.
This is love that I kick on your face. That I will point out the discrepancy.
You're too heavy. People will be turned away by the negative energy.
So, what can I do? People were turned away by Prabhupada also. There were many who were turned away. When Prabhupada said that this is nonsense, in the TV they were watching live stream. They had also live stream in 69, the moon landing. Prabhupada, this is bogus nonsense. So this guy was also turned away. What? Prabhupada, it's on TV. You can't see it's on TV. Oh, this is a cult.
And now it's proven that everything is filmed on a
Film set.
Film set. You know, they actually even give the trick how they did the spaceship and the moon passing by, the land passing by. It's all like a film in front of them.
Well, you know the movie Independence Day?
Yes.
So you just played the movie, the first scene is from the moon. So I was wondering, my God, that film had to cost so much money. They had to go to the moon to shoot this scene.
Yeah.
You know how? They had to shoot the plaquette, the step, the footprint. They had to shoot,
and also the spaceship
and everything. They had to go there and shoot it. You know, my God, that had to cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, this movie.
But now they can't go.
No, because they have destroyed the technology,
Yes,
and it's very painful to restore the technology. So I'm sorry, you know, we can't. In '69 we went, but now in 2020 we can't.
Actually, Prabhupada says also that there is life in the sun, and they actually didn't accept that there is life in the sun.
Yeah.
But accordingly to some investigation during the time, they found out that there is some bacteria that lives in volcanic lava.
Of course.
And then after that, I show you there is some videos that NASA has shoot of intelligent objects taking plasma from the surface of the sun. So they actually, NASA accept intelligent beings hovering around the sun.
Yeah, it's just it's like a logical thing. Okay, the body is made of elements, and this body is made of earth and water and predominant elements. You have predominant elements, and then accordingly you have your environment. Mm-hmm. So there is earth, water, fire, air, ether. So according to the ratio of these elements within the body, that body is able to exist in
Yeah, actually, I heard the
different
explanation
circumstances.
of the Medusa. The Medusa is 95% water.
This is like a water.
Yes.
Or a fish. You can't live in the water. That doesn't mean that nothing lives in the water. You can't live. There is a place at the bottom of the ocean, 5,000, 6,000 meters, 7,000, complete darkness, such pressure that if you go there with this body, it will shrink you into an atom. Such a pressure. You know, this body that it will make a little chunk out of your body like that. You know, cold. Nothing is there, and there are these.
There's a lot of.
There are these like tiny volcanoes
Yeah.
coming from the earth, from the bottom, and they emanate like a sulfuric, like a hot stream of hot stuff, and it's all sulfur and like a volcanic, and it's full of life. Around these ventils, you have all these weird creatures, you know.
Yeah, they even found out in the deeper under the sea, they have found lakes. You know, it's like lakes that do not mix with the water.
Yeah,
You see,
salty
it's
and
like
sweet.
individual lake of water that is in a layer on the water. It's crazy.
Kalia.
I don't know. But this is you can see in the movie. You go down, and then you find a lake under the water. And in that lake, you have life.
A sweet water life.
I don't know, but you know, like it goes.
And these organisms, usually the metabolism is based on carbon. Whatever that means. But these guys, they have a completely different metabolism. They function on sulfur.
Yeah.
So it's like an alien. It's kind of like an alien thing.
Yeah.
And they're here on this planet.
Yeah.
And and they admitted we have only searched like 1% or 0.5% of the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
So you didn't even go anywhere yet. And you want to say, oh, there is no God. Or
There's people that say, yeah, we already investigate the whole world. They say, normally.
you didn't even investigate your own mind.
Not even your own TV. You don't even know how it works.
So it's okay, you know. You may be an agnostic or something, but an agnostic he says it's not possible to know, or I don't know, or something. So at least, even if you say it's not possible to know, that is also nonsense. You do not know, so no one can know. But okay, you may not believe in God or something, but just be a gentleman. You say, I don't know, maybe, I don't. You have some nice explanation or some argument or some, but not like a Buddha. No, and they laugh. They're laughing. Oh. So now this rascal, now he went. Now he's finding out what's going on. So, and you're next. So.
Maybe he's gonna born in that little volcano, a bacteria.
A starfish. He was a science star, now he will become a starfish.
Yeah. Grasping in the unknown of his mind.
So there is form also, the devotional service also has a form. It is another formless, vague idea. Those who want to make it formless, they will be frustrated. The form is there is authority, there is hierarchy, there is ritual, everything is there. Initiation, ceremony, whatever. So yes, these are formalities, but they also have meaning. The forms of performing devotional service. So we should not make it formless, vague. Then it will become deviated. I went a little bit off topic a few times here and there, but I would stop here if there is any question.
But doesn't that it mean that, let's say we have Vaidhi Bhakti, so it sounds like that the spontaneous love for Krishna is depending on some following of the rules. It sounds like it's checked by some circumstances.
It doesn't depend on following the rules. It depends on satisfying the Guru. And when the Guru gave you rules, you also satisfy him by following. George Harrison satisfied Prabhupada without following rules and regulations. You see? Supposedly he was chanting while dying. What more you want? When we're gonna die, we're gonna, cry for 4 more years because we didn't finish our plan. Some nonsense like that. And he was chanting Hare Krishna. And he didn't follow any rules. So the love of God is not dependent on rules. It is dependent on satisfying a pure devotee. Yasya prasadam bhagavat prasadam. So if a pure devotee comes and tells you that you satisfy him by eating sausage, you eat sausage, you satisfy him, and you get love of God. But his instruction also cannot be just some nonsense, He will not instruct whimsically. He instructs according to the Shastra and the sadhus, previous acharyas. It's a standard process. That's how you verify. To the extent you can verify. But it has to be in accordance. So if the acharya gives you rules, then naturally you also satisfy him by following these rules. And that's how you make advancement. Not that the spiritual advancement depends on the rules. Mayavadis, they follow such rules and regulations you cannot even dream of. But what is their advancement? I am God. Complete illusion. By following these rules, even devotees so-called, by strictly following, tapasya, austerity, this, being heavy and all austere and chanting 65 million rounds and following 50 rags, and he's becoming a nonsense, puffed up rascal, completely disconnected from everyone else and from everything. Cannot relate to anyone, cannot preach. So it may be the other way around. By simply following the rules and regulations for the sake of following them, you can actually get deeper into illusion. You can get more illusioned. By following the same rules and regulations, you can get more illusioned. Again, it's the same energy, just like Prabhupada gives this example. The electricity comes from the powerhouse, and at the end, you are the user of this energy, and you can heat up things or cool down things in the fridge or heat up by the cooker. So also, rules and regulations are like an energy, and you utilize it, and you can heat things up or you can cool them down. But besides following, yes, we should consciously cultivate the desire to become advanced. Not artificially, but that should be the goal. It is not also a button system that simply by following I become. We have to have the consciousness, Krishna consciousness. The rules and regulations, they simply assist. They are a facility to help us to remain pure, so the mind is not agitated but concentrated. These sinful activities, they agitate the mind. Illicit sex agitates mind, intoxication messes up the mind completely, just like we saw these many people, who take drugs. They cannot formulate a consistent thought. The mind is so messed up, the brain is like a mental cheese. Intoxication, meat makes you complete gross. And gambling also, mind so much disturbed, always anxiety. So if you cannot focus your mind, how you want to think of Krishna, how you want to plan out the mission, or how you want to perform devotional service if the mind is so agitated. The body is dirty, the habits, unclean habits, dirty body, dirty environment, neglected, agitated mind, you cannot focus. So these rules and regulations are not the gate to love of God, but they are to keep the body and the mind clean, to keep us clean, pure, in that sense. So we can focus, we can calm down, come to the platform of goodness by regulated habits, simple living, high thinking. So from that platform you can begin to conceive the spiritual, the philosophy. And then when you understand the philosophy by intelligence, you apply the process properly. Of course, there's also applying devotional service doesn't depend on understanding it by reason. Anyone can, engage immediately in devotional service. So it's one and different. But if you want to really firmly progress, not sentimentally. Sentimentally, anyone can engage himself for a little while and have a good feeling in the heart, and then go and search for something, maybe something higher or something. But if you want to really go into it, get into it, you have to use all the instruments. Intelligence also. Intelligence, the mind, the senses, everything. So that's why there is Shastra. So we hear, that's why there is Guru. And then you transcend the Sattva Guna also, that is necessary. So devotional service doesn't depend on anything. Rules and regulations doesn't depend. But they are there, essential, because the Acharya has given. So we have to follow. And even when one comes to the platform where he doesn't need to follow anymore, still he follows. Why? To show the example. Not to bewilder the neophytes. You become advanced, still you follow. Prabhupada wakes up, chants his japa, everything he's doing, and we follow, like little ducklings, going, imitating, at least imitating. Try to imitate the good thing, not imitating what is not to be imitated. That is following. Following and imitating, that question was there, what is the difference? So following means following the order, and imitating means trying to perform something which seemingly may be outside of the order, but that Acharya can do it. Prabhupada was taking this snuff, like a little stimulant. So in one letter he writes to the disciple, no, you can't sniff. If you want to sniff, you first write a commentary on the Bhagavatam, and then you can sniff. You open 100 temples, and then you can take snuff. Why you want to imitate? I said, no intoxication.